Here we have a SAT math question. Okay, let's go with the question. Jackson wants to measure the length AB of a lake. In the figure above, AB is parallel to CD, DE equals to 6 feet, CD equals to 10 feet, and B equals to 300 feet. What is the length of the lake? So here in the given figure, this line segment AB represents the length of the lake. So we have to find according to the question. And it is given that DE equals to 6 feet. There is a DE over here, it's 6 feet. And CD is 10 feet, it's over here. And BE, that is the length of this line segment is given, that is 300 feet. Okay, now we have to find the length of AB. And also let me consider the angle measure over here, 90 degree. What is the measure of the angle measure over here? So this one also must be 90 degree because these two angle measures are vertical angles, so they must be equal to each other. And also the line segment AB and the line segment CD are parallel. Then these two line segments, BC and AD, are transversal. Since the BC is transversal and AB and CD are parallel, then the angle measure over here and angle measure over here are corresponding angles and they must be equal. So the same reason, the angle measure over here at the vertex A and the angle measure over here at the vertex D must be equal. So because they are corresponding angles. So clearly the three angles of the bigger triangle ABC are equal to the three interior angles of the smaller triangle CED. Since the three angles of one triangle are equal to the three angles of another triangle, these two triangles are said to be similar. Okay, now let me write the vertices. First, let me take the vertex A in the bigger triangle. What is the corresponding vertex in the smaller triangle? So that is D, because A and D, I mean angle measure at A and angle measure at D are equal, they are corresponding angles. So A and D are corresponding vertices. Okay, now let me take the vertex B in the bigger triangle. What is the corresponding vertex in the smaller triangle? That is clearly C. And now let me take the vertex E in the bigger triangle. The corresponding vertex in the smaller triangle is also the same E. We have 90 degree angle measure. So these two triangles are similar. Okay, our aim is to find the length of the line segment AB, which represents the length of the lake. So let me write the length of the line segment AB. Actually, whenever two triangles are similar, then their corresponding sides are proportional. That is, the ratios of the corresponding sides must be equal. Okay, now I've taken the side AB in the bigger triangle because my aim is to find the length of AB. That's why I've taken the side AB of the first triangle, ABE. What is the corresponding side in the smaller triangle? Okay, to get the side AB in the bigger triangle, I just consider the letters of the first portion and second portion. To get the corresponding side in the second triangle, we have to consider the letters of the same portion, D and C. So that is DC, or it can be written as CD. Now, let me consider the side BE in the bigger triangle because I know the length of the side BE. So here, we don't have to consider the side AE because for AE, we do not know the length. So now let me consider the side BE in the bigger triangle. So what is the corresponding side in the smaller triangle? So here to get the side BE, I consider the letters at the second portion and third portion. And for the corresponding side, we have to consider the letters at the same portion, the second triangle, C and E, that is CE. Okay, now what I can do is I can plug in the values we can plug in the lengths of the sides. So for AB, I do not know the length. Let me assume X as the length of the side AB. So we can plug in X for AB. So actually our aim is to find the value of X, which represents the length of the lake, that is AB. And what is the length of CD? That is given in the question itself, that is 10. And the length of BE is 300. Let me plug in 300 for BE. And what is the length of CE? So that is not given in the question. So here C is not known, but we must be knowing the length of CE so that we'll be able to solve for X in this equation. So how do we have to get the length of CE? Okay, now consider the right triangle we have over here. Actually, CED is a right triangle because we have a right angle over here. Here we have a right angle. So CED is a right triangle. In this right triangle, this CD is opposite to the right angle. So the CD is the hypotenuse and the CE and ED are the two legs of the right triangle. We can use Pythagorean theorem to get the length of CE because we know the length of the other leg and hypotenuse. Okay, now let me write Pythagorean theorem in this smaller triangle CED. Okay, in triangle CED. So the length, the sum of the squares of two legs of the right triangle is equal to the square of the hypotenuse according to Pythagorean theorem. That is CE square positive CED square equals to CD square. I just squared the two legs and added them. So that is equal to the square of the hypotenuse according to the Pythagorean theorem. So I do not know the length of CE, so I can keep it as it is. and I know the length of ED, that is 6, that is 6 square, and also I know the length of CD, that is 10, that is 10 square. Then I'm getting C the whole square equal positive. 6 square is 36 equals to 10 square is 100. Let me subtract 36 from both sides. When I do so, this positive 36, negative 36 will cancel out. Then I'm getting C square equals to 100 negative 36 is 64. Okay, now my aim is to get the length of C. For that, I have to get rid of this square. So for that, I'm taking square root on both sides. When I take square root on both sides, so for one of the square roots, I have to consider positive or negative sign. Usually we consider positive or negative sign for the square root which contains number inside. But here I'm not going to consider the positive or negative sign for this square root because C represents the length of one of the sides of the triangle, so it cannot be negative. So we don't have to consider positive or negative. We can just consider only positive sign for this square root. Okay, here the square root and square root will cancel out. I'm getting C equals to square root of 64 is just 8. Now I got the length of C, that is 8. Now I can plug in 8 over here. Now we can solve for x in this equation. Okay, let me do it. X over 10 equals to, when I divide this 300 by 8, I'm getting 37.5. Let me write the same equation over here. X over 10 equals to 37.5. Okay, now to get rid of the denominator 10 over here, I multiply both sides of this equation by 10. Let me do it. So this 10 will cancel out. Then I'm getting x equals to, when I multiply this 37.5 by this 10, I'm getting 375. Okay, now I got the value of x which represents the length AB of the lake. So the length AB of a lake is 375 feet. We find 375 feet in answer choice C. The correct answer choice for this question is C.